Hello and welcome back to Transforming Relationships with Emotional Intelligence. Today, I'm truly honored to be joined by someone whose work embodies both compassion and resilience, a dedicated renal nurse. Renal nursing is not just about managing treatments and care plans. It's about working alongside patients through some of the most challenging journeys of their lives. It requires incredible skill, deep empathy, and a heart that can hold both the science and human story. Our guest today brings all of that and much more. Rosalind Ajekum, welcome to Transforming Relationships with Emotional Intelligence podcast.
Thank you very much. It's such an honor to be here.
Thank you. We're glad to have you. Do you mind maybe by starting by introducing yourself to our listeners and viewers today?
Thank you very much. My name is Roslyn. I first qualified as a nurse in Ghana, and I've always loved nursing right from when I was a teenager. The passion started when I took my mom to hospital as a 16-year-old. That is when the passion started. My journey to kidney health was by accident. I was working in an intensive care unit, and for personal health reasons, I had to be moved to the kidney unit. And that is when I developed passion for kidney health. However, my desire to deep dive into kidney health only started when first an auntie's husband became unwell with kidney disease. Then my auntie, the one that shook me was my own sister, the one I directly come after.
Right.
That is what shook me. And from there, the journey began. I came to the UK and somehow I sidetracked into education. However, COVID presented me with a huge opportunity where I went back into clinical working in intensive care unit. That is when this whole passion, birth in the mind of my supervisor, Dr. Kate Branham, started. And so far, it's been an exciting journey of working in the community, churches, mosque, library, garden, anywhere there is space. Roslyn and her team are willing, committed to talk about kidney health and to empower people. So that is my journey so far.
Thank you so much and welcome once again. We are glad to have you. Thank you for all the
Thank
things you
you.
do. Today, we are looking at healthy kidneys, healthy life,
Mm,
tackling the root causes of chronic disease. Just
mm,
for our listeners who aren't clinicians, can you explain what the
mhm.
kidneys do and why they matter? So some of us may not know why kidney is so important to our health. So please, if you can just give us
Mm. Kidneys. Amazingly, we all have two.
yes,
Of the many things God gave us two, we all have two kidneys.
no,
They are really protected at the back, behind the bones, and in front, covered by all the organs in the abdomen or in the stomach.
no,
Really, really well protected. And they do amazing, incredible work. For every single heartbeat, kidneys receive about 20% of the blood that enters the heart. Now, our kidneys work 24/7, they never sleep.
hmm,
Their main process or their main function is to filter the blood and make sure that the nutrients that the body needs from the food that we have eaten, they take that. The waste from the food that we have eaten, they remove them.
okay,
Some of us may have heard about our liver, that our liver breaks down poisons or toxins. However, even after the liver has broken them down, the kidneys will still have to remove them.
all right,
So, first, let's talk about how the kidneys help in regulating water. So, we drink water, we drink fluid. A lot of the foods we eat contain fluid.
mhm,
The body, amazingly, is made two-thirds of fluid.
Right.
And the kidney's function is to make sure this balance is maintained.
Right.
So days that we're drinking a lot of water, may find ourselves peeing a lot. And days that we don't drink a lot of water, we don't pee a lot.
Right.
That is one. The kidneys also work together with the heart to maintain blood pressure. This becomes critical when an individual is then diagnosed with high blood pressure.
Right.
Other things the kidney do for me to have strong bones and teeth, I need my kidneys to be functioning very well
Okay.
because my kidneys would have to make sure that the food that I have eaten, the calcium and vitamin D, are balanced very well to
Okay.
make sure I have strong bones, strong teeth, and my blood also needs calcium to
Wow.
clot. So when I get a cut, I don't have to bleed excessively.
Mhm.
Calcium plays a role.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, that every toxin, waste, we call it waste in the food we have eaten, the kidneys will get rid of it.
Yeah.
One important function that the kidney also does is to help to produce red blood cells. Most of us call it blood.
Okay.
And if the kidneys are not working very well, that means that my body will not be able to have the amount of red blood cells that it needs. So, individuals who have problems with their kidneys tend to have anemia, or what we call they have low blood.
Right.
So, we could see that already this very tiny organ, like the size of my fist, is not really that big, Owen, like the size of my clenched fist,
Right.
does amazing things. Let me even surprise you the more. In a day, the kidneys processes 180 liters of fluid. Can you imagine that?
180.
180, 180 liters of body fluid.
Interesting.
That is how much my kidneys work just to make sure the body is functioning very well. Now, of these 180, surprisingly, only zero point 0.5 to 1% is passed out as urine. The rest is reabsorbed for the body processes,
Right.
just the kidneys. So please, we need to show some love to our kidneys.
Interesting. So the body has this amount or level of fluid, really. This
Yes,
wow, interesting.
two-thirds of our body
Hmm.
is made up of fluid. Interestingly, Owen, I compared the body to earth.
Okay.
Two-thirds of the earth
Right. Yeah.
is fluid water.
All right.
Two-thirds of the body is fluid water.
Interesting.
It's just you cannot see it. It's within the cells. Majority of water or the body fluid is inside the muscle, is within the cells and our stomach. Think about how we can roll our eyes.
Hmm.
It's fluid. How we talk, our tongue
Yeah.
move. I move my joints.
Yeah.
Without all those fluid, I would not be able to do that. That is just the amazing work of the creator.
Interesting. Thank you so much. Now that you have introduced our topic for the day, I want to congratulate you. I noticed you were awarded the Nurse of the Year. So a very big congratulations. Do you mind letting our viewers know about this award? I think this is the second year running that you have received this award.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about that, please.
Thank you very much.
Right.
This is the second year running, and it is about the work that I do with a group of team within the community.
All right.
One of the things that I am passionate about is why sit in the hospital and wait for people to come to us with chronic kidney disease?
All right.
One, we know that the early stages of chronic kidney disease or poor kidney health is silent. If we can get people to screen early, especially those who have high risk, we
Yeah.
would be able to identify that earlier and actually stop these individuals from needing renal replacement therapy, from
Right.
crashing on dialysis.
Right.
So for the past 4 years, that is what I have been doing. And we screen people in churches, mosque, garden, library, anywhere there is space. Over the past 4 years, we have trained 47 community members as peer educators.
All right.
So they are the people that we take into the community and they support community members
Yeah.
to screen and check for their kidney health. And then after the kidney health is done, we also follow them up in the community and provide them with tailored health information to help them maintain their health.
Yeah.
But then I also support them psychologically using solution focused brief therapy to
Mhm.
help them set life goals and maintain that. So, this award, that is what it was all about.
All right. So which organization awarded that, gave you this award?
It is from the Caribbean and African Health Network,
All right.
CAN,
Okay. As the nurse of the year.
as the nurse of the year.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. You're
Thank you.
just talking
Thank
about
you.
the kidney screening you do in the community. What is that like? Is it a sort of blood, what's the process, if you don't mind?
Interestingly, when I was talking about kidney health or kidney function, sometimes people ask, Roslyn, so how do I check when I come into the hospital? How do you check for my kidney health?
All right.
If you remember, I said of the amount of fluid that the kidney processes in a day,
Mm-hmm.
1% is passed out as urine.
Yeah.
If I want to know the health of the kidney, the urine is the first thing I want to look out for.
Okay.
And our urine says a lot of things.
Okay.
First is the color of the urine.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at the color of the urine. Is the color of the urine straw-like? That should be the normal color.
Mm-hmm.
If the color of the urine is a bit yellow, dark yellow, or coke, dark yellow means I am not drinking enough water.
Okay.
Straight away, I am not drinking enough water. If it is turning to coke, sometimes it is because I may be bleeding, so that may be old blood that is coming with the urine.
Mm-hmm.
Do I see in urine? It may be that either I have eaten a lot of foods that has acid in it, or it may be that I have a kidney problem. That is why my urine is foaming.
Yeah.
Does it have any cells in it? If I look at the urine, does it look cloudy? Does it have any sediment in them or any particles in them? So first we look at the urine. Also, there is a particular protein that we look out for in the urine.
Mm.
This protein is not meant to be there, it's meant to be in the blood.
Right.
If I find this protein in the urine, it means that the kidney tissue itself is damaged. That
Okay.
is why we are seeing this protein.
Right.
So in the community, we don't take blood. All we ask for is urine.
Okay. Okay.
And we have a point of care machine that we take into the community.
Yeah.
It uses batteries. So
Okay.
I don't need electricity.
All
So
right.
it doesn't matter where I am, I can just do it.
All right.
So all I do is ask for the urine. And then I also ask for three additional things. Because we know that the kidneys and the heart work together, I would want to check the person's blood pressure
Mm-hmm.
because the kidneys and the heart work together. So I
Okay.
want to check the person's blood pressure. A
Right.
high blood pressure may have a knock-on effect on the kidneys. So I would want to check the patient's or the participant's blood pressure.
Yeah.
And then besides that, I want to also check their weight and height and use that to calculate BMI, or basal metabolic index,
Yeah.
although that does not really work well for other ethnic groups. So
Yeah.
sometimes I would use waist to height ratio,
All right.
waist to height ratio as well to estimate that individual's risk. So in the community, that is what we do. No blood, just urine.
Okay. Wow, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that
Thank
explanation.
you. Thank you.
Wow, interesting. So if somebody needs you in their community, is there any process of reaching out to you, or since somebody may be listening to this and they may want you to come to their community, faith group or anything, do they contact you directly, or is there a process of doing that?
So first of all, they contact me directly. And although we have a website, we also have a number
Mm-hmm.
a mobile number, WhatsApp number, and at the end of this program, I would give you the number, Owen,
All
and
right.
people can contact me if they want me to come to their church with a
All right.
team to come and run a kidney health screening,
All right.
or sometimes other people would also want us to host a webinar
All right.
or give a talk in the church or give a talk online, and we are more than happy to do that as well.
That's good. Thank you very much. So we'll share that information and it also be on the
Yes, please.
note. All right.
Yes.
Talking about kidney, what are the biggest risk factors for chronic kidney disease and how might someone know they are at risk?
Okay. The first one possibly may be coming to your mind straight away is
All
high
right.
blood pressure,
Okay.
hypertension, as we all call it.
Yeah.
Now, this starts from the kidney and the heart relationship.
Yeah.
So, if an individual has high blood pressure,
Yeah.
the likelihood of the high blood pressure increasing that individual's risk of developing chronic kidney disease is higher.
Okay.
So, key thing is how can that individual look after themselves very well and manage their high blood pressure to reduce that risk in the future.
All right.
The second biggest risk is diabetes.
All right.
Now, sometimes people ask, wait a minute, Roslyn, I understand the high blood pressure,
Yeah.
but where does
That's
diabetes play in
absolutely.
terms of kidneys?
Yeah.
Key thing is because the kidneys are busy making sure that the body's cells, everything the body needs is well balanced,
Yeah.
one key thing the kidney does is maintaining glucose level.
Okay.
So most of us know that the pancreas secretes insulin, and insulin helps to move glucose from the blood to all my tissues. That should be the normal process.
Yeah.
So far as the glucose or the sugar remains in the blood, the kidneys have a big challenge.
All
Their
right.
challenge is one, to get rid of this glucose
Okay.
because it is not good for the cells.
All right.
So the kidneys would try to get rid of them, but the kidneys have a threshold. Let's call it a gauge, or let's call it capacity.
Yeah.
Once that capacity is exceeded,
Yeah.
the rest of the glucose are going to come in the urine.
Okay. All right.
The rest of the glucose are going to come in the urine because the kidneys gauge or the kidneys capacity has been exceeded. There
Yeah.
is nothing more the kidneys can do. One key thing about glucose or sugar we don't realize is that sugar is sticky. It is also acidic.
Okay.
So if I think about all those very tiny cells within my kidneys,
Yeah.
this glucose, this sugar, this acid is going to start eating into these small cells and start destroying them.
All right.
So for the individual who has diabetes, if there is poor control or limited control,
Yeah.
what happens is that the up and down of high glucose, low glucose impact on the kidneys.
Okay.
That is what gradually destroy the cells within the kidneys, leading to chronic kidney disease.
Okay.
If we look at demographics
Yeah.
for the African and Caribbean ancestry,
Yeah.
hypertension seems to be the main driving force for chronic kidney disease. One other twist, Owen, is that for people of African ancestry, so this is now drilling down to African ancestry or heritage,
Yeah.
there is a particular gene or protein that goes under mutation. This is what we call apolipoprotein. It's a mouthful,
Mm.
apolipoprotein. And some people would hear it as APOL1, but apolipoprotein.
Mm.
What we know is that for some individuals, Owen, this particular protein goes under mutation.
Okay.
And the changes that goes in that protein increases Black people's risk, especially from West African descent or African descent,
Yeah.
of developing chronic kidney disease.
Okay.
So if you come to Southeast London, where I work,
Yeah.
you would think that you are in some part of Africa because majority of the patients you are going to see in my unit are me.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you were to go to Southeast London, if you go to Whitechapel, for example, you
Yeah.
would think that you are some in Asia
Yeah.
because majority of the patients you are going to see are
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah.
And so this is where those biggest risks play a key role in leading to chronic kidney disease.
I see. So our ethnicity can impact on our risk of having that.
Yes,
Wow,
yes.
that's good to know.
One interesting thing is that when we also know that it runs in families.
Okay.
So kidney disease runs in families.
All right.
And sometimes, as Africans or Caribbeans, we do not talk about family history,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to diseases.
Yeah.
I think upbringing is such that acknowledging that there is a disease in the family
Mhm.
is a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm going to say. It is not a sign of weakness.
Hmm.
Knowing familiar disease is like having a map.
Hmm.
This is a map for your health.
Yeah.
Because if I know that my mother has high blood pressure,
Yeah.
if I know that my mother has diabetes, or if I know that my mother has chronic kidney disease, it does not necessarily mean that I will get it.
Absolutely.
But because I know and now I have the map,
Yeah.
I now know how to navigate my own health.
Okay.
I know how to navigate my health. So,
Absolutely.
for those of us listening, please, next time we meet as a family and we are talking, let's go back and find out, okay, so who had this condition, who has that condition?
Yeah.
Because there are times that we may not know. I remember a friend saying to me, but Rosalind, these conditions we are hearing, they were not common when we were growing up. And I said, no, that's not true. I remember that auntie who had a sore in her foot that never healed.
Yeah.
I remember that auntie who was told by the doctor not to eat cassava,
Yeah.
not to eat this. I
Yeah.
remember that auntie who was told not to have salt, not to have. That was then. It
Yeah.
was there, but it started.
Yeah.
And awareness is like having a passport to where you are going. All your stuff are ready before you even set up.
Yes.
That is what awareness is, including family history.
Yes. Absolutely. And that speaks to also the type of work we do. I know in the work I do in emotional intelligence, awareness is a major part of that. So we talk about emotional intelligence framework. We look at self-awareness, which is just knowing that things exist. And even in
Yes,
the process of knowledge, developing knowledge or learning, the process of knowledge, we go from that, uh, you know, um, not knowing what you don't know to at least knowing that this is the situation. So if you
yes,
get to that position of awareness, then you can begin to seek the right intervention, even with people who have gone through trauma. When we deal with things like
yes,
ACEs, advanced childhood experiences,
yes,
sometimes people think that when we show those, share that information, it's just reminding them of their past pain or things like that. But we say, no, not exactly. Just that so that if you can identify yourself within any of those areas, you can recognize what's going on in you and then seek the right intervention. I love the way you put it, that
yeah,
recognizing that this thing runs in the family does not necessarily mean you are going to. It just gives you
yeah,
the roadmap, right? The way you describe
yes,
it gives you opportunity to seek the right intervention, to do something
yeah,
to. Yes, not to end up there. When we talk about ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, um,
mm,
if you don't do anything, you are likely to end up based on that study.
yes,
If you know that early enough and then seek the right interventions, you can still do very well in life, irrespective of those
yeah,
trauma experiences. That's really
definitely.
amazing. I love that. Yes, because sometimes we just avoid having that information and then
Yes,
we keep walking in ignorance, which leads to, ending up with that place you don't want to.
definitely, Owen. I remember saying to a friend of mine who said, oh, Roslyn, if I acknowledge that I have a medical condition, then it means that I'm saying that I have accepted something
Mm.
and I negate my faith or and then I said, actually no. Faith, faith without works
Yeah.
is actually dead.
Yes.
And we walk by faith and not by ignorance. So, what does the Bible say? For lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
So,
People perish.
that seeking that knowledge at the beginning is the whole awareness.
Yeah.
And once you know, then we arm ourselves with what tools do I need
Yeah.
to move me from where I am,
Yeah.
and if I am even in the amber area, to move me further away so that I do not end up in the red zone.
Absolutely.
And I always keep myself at the green traffic light.
That's safe. So, Rosaline, are there practical steps that one can take to keep their kidneys healthy?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's start with individuals who have no underlying health conditions at all,
Yeah.
but who may have a risk in the family.
Yeah.
It's good to have that roadmap.
Yeah.
And also, am I eating healthily? When I talk about am I eating healthily, not am I eating healthily?
Yeah.
Because healthy food presents us with a lot of options.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at my plate, do I have the right amount of starchy foods there?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes when we mention carbohydrate, people think that carbohydrate are just root things. So people would think carbohydrate is just cassava, yam, potato. But no, rice, bread,
Yeah.
pasta, all those starchy foods, they are all the same.
Yeah.
A typical African plate would have rice, possibly rice and beans, and then we'll have chicken, a little tiny bit veg, and then on top we'll have fried plantain. That is additional carbohydrate. So the bulk of our diet is actually starch. And what I would want us to think about is anytime we put a lot of starch on our plate, think about kidneys,
Mm.
starch, kidneys, because the end product of that starch is glucose.
Okay.
And the more glucose we have, the more work we put on the kidneys.
Okay.
So that is first one looking at my diet. Next one is how physically active am I?
Okay.
The body needs to be kept active.
All
A
right.
muscle that is not used, that muscle starts decaying.
Okay.
That muscle become inactive.
Yeah.
I need to use my muscle. So how much active am I? And I understand that COVID may have caused a lot of us to have long-term post-COVID events. A
Mhm.
lot of us have also started working from home.
Yeah.
But even with that, there are still subtle things we can do at home to keep us active.
Yeah.
How active am I in the house? If I am working from a desk, can I actually shift my desk, move away from my chair, walk a little bit, stand when I'm having Teams meeting, move about? Those little movements keep our muscles and our joints active.
Okay.
Also, quitting smoking. Those of us who smoke, smoking does not directly affect the kidneys,
Yeah.
but first it affects the lungs. The
Okay.
lungs have a direct relationship with the heart. Whatever affects the heart would ultimately affect the kidneys.
Right. Right.
Sometimes people will think, okay, Rosalind, how about alcohol? Alcohol does not directly affect the kidneys, it impacts on the liver. First of all, we have to realize that the liver is responsible for breaking down every poison,
Okay.
but the kidneys have to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So, if the machine that is meant to be breaking down the items are not working, it
Mhm.
means that there is a double, I will call it, there is a double jeopardy on the
Yeah.
kidneys.
Yeah.
So these are some of the practical things.
Mhm.
Also, Owen, what I've come to realize is that some of us still ask for friends and families to bring us herbs and other medications from home.
All right.
Whilst that may not be bad, especially if those herbs have been manufactured by licensed pharmacists,
Mhm.
some of the herbs we are bringing in are unlicensed.
Yeah.
We don't even know the actual ingredient or the amount of each component in them,
All
and
right.
we are taking them.
Okay.
Some of us are also taking the herbs plus prescribed medications here. We may not know the full impact of damage we are doing to our internal organs.
Yeah.
The challenge with kidney health or poor kidney condition, Owen, is that it is silent, it
Okay.
is hidden,
All right.
it does not give any warning.
Okay.
It gives subtle warning that most of the time we tend to ignore.
All right.
So you may be having this niggling headache here, or you may be feeling tired, and you think possibly because I am not sleeping very well, or I have been overworking, or but those silent poor kidney health does not like does I like when somebody said to me, Roslyn, what I've realized is that chronic kidney disease does not scream.
Okay. It doesn't scream, right?
Chronic kidney disease does not scream at you.
Mm.
It just nudges you gently.
Yeah.
The day it screams at you is the day everything has gone very bad.
Okay.
That is the day it screams
It
at you.
screams it's too
So
late.
we need to pay attention to our body, all those little nudges. The third thing I would want to talk about is stress, or when we take a lot of stress upon ourselves.
Okay.
And stress in itself does not directly impact on the kidneys.
Mm.
But what stress does is that whilst my body is under stress, I am releasing a hormone called cortisol.
Mm-hmm.
This cortisol has a particular function within the body.
Absolutely.
However, when I am stressed,
Mm-hmm.
what cortisol is doing is that cortisol is then negating everything insulin is meant to do.
Okay.
So, insulin is meant to take the glucose from my blood to my body tissues. Cortisol is actually locking the gate.
All right.
So, let's imagine that my muscles need the insulin to
Yeah.
work. But for the main thing to take the glucose
Yeah.
into my muscles is insulin.
Yeah.
What cortisol does is that cortisol then locks all this gate.
Okay.
So the insulin cannot carry the glucose to the tissues.
All right.
The blood is full of the glucose ready for us to work, but cortisol has locked all the gate.
Yeah.
So stress in itself is a bad thing, and we need to find out what is actually causing out us that stress and then work through that.
Yeah.
Because some of us may not even acknowledge that we are stressed.
All
We
right.
think that it is part of everyday life.
Yeah.
Some jobs are stressful. Some of us are working in a very stressful environment. And we need to acknowledge that and actually look for ways in which we can have a calmer zones for us to actually calm ourselves and distress ourselves,
Right.
because it does not have beneficial effect for us to have ongoing sustained stress.
Yeah.
A little bit of stress keeps us active.
Yeah.
It just keeps us working.
Mm-hmm.
But too much of it
Yeah.
is not good.
All right.
So the individual who has diabetes, it is my diabetes managed very well? One, by myself? Am I looking at my diet? Do I know my diabetes ABCD and I call it that way? When I checked my last blood sugar, what was it? We call it HbA1c. What was it? Do I know what my blood pressure readings are?
Yeah.
Are they below 130, the top number? The
Mm-hmm.
bottom number, is it below 80? And the third one, which is a C, is my cholesterol. Do I know what my cholesterol level is?
All right.
These are really important. And even if the person with diabetes is looking at their diet, how much of the food on this plate here is actually starchy food?
Mm-hmm.
Finally, that individual then needs to look at the medications they are taking. Does this medication work for me?
All right.
Because it is not every single anti-diabetic medication that may work for an individual.
Mm.
And the GP may not know that this particular medication is not working for you unless we say it. So, apart from maintaining exercise, all of that, including the person for the diabetes, these are the key things. The same is applicable for the individual with high blood pressure.
Yeah.
Again, what is my blood pressure reading? Have I again checked my cholesterol level?
Okay.
Because if I have high blood pressure, my heart is already using a lot of force to send blood to every part of the body.
All right.
So if my cholesterol level is also high, that means that some of this cholesterol may deposit in my blood vessels
Yeah.
and make my blood pressure even worse.
Right. Okay.
Has my GP checked my kidney function in terms of the blood,
Yeah.
or has my GP checked my kidney function in terms of my urine?
Okay.
I need to know all of these
Okay.
because if I do not know, I'm just walking blind.
Yeah.
I am just walking blind.
Okay.
And for those of us who are from African and Caribbean ancestry,
Yeah.
annual health check, let's take advantage of that.
Okay.
And if my GP has not checked my kidney profile or my renal profile, I'm going to request for it. Doctor, I would want to have my kidney check done. I
Okay.
want to know.
Right.
If you don't ask, nothing will be done.
Okay. Awesome.
Our diet plays a key role.
Okay.
There is a lot of ongoing controversy about salt.
Mm-hmm.
Should we eat salt? Should we not eat
Yeah.
salt?
Yeah.
And sometimes people would say, Roslyn, how about Himalayan salt?
Mm-hmm.
How about the pink salt?
Mm-hmm.
How about iodidated salt? Is that any better?
Yeah.
Every food the creator made, Owen, has its natural salt content in them,
All right.
has the natural amount of salt in them.
Mm-hmm.
Adding additional salt is saying that, okay, the salt is not enough.
Yeah.
However, for us as African and Caribbean ancestry, it's not just that salt. Sometimes we add seasoning.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the Maggi cube, jumbo cube, all pepper seasoning, jack seasoning, all the seasoning, and they all salt.
Yeah.
What happened to how our grandparents, our parents used to season food with the natural herbs?
Okay.
And we still enjoy the food and lick our fingers.
Mm-hmm.
We need to go back.
All right. I think we can do with what we have now. Going back sometimes may not be as simple as that. So is to use the ones we have now and then with knowledge, use them
Yeah,
with a level of wisdom.
currently.
Yeah.